Hello, and welcome to another episode in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. My name is Jason Perkins. I'm an attorney who specializes in handling Georgia workers' compensation cases. I created this series of videos to provide people who've been hurt at work in Georgia with helpful information about Georgia's workers' compensation laws and the benefits they should receive under those laws. Now, let's jump straight into today's topic. Today, I'd like to talk to you about Georgia workers' compensation deadlines. Georgia workers' compensation law has many different types of deadlines. These deadlines are essentially legal technicalities under Georgia's workers' compensation law. If you don't meet these deadlines, it can cause you to lose the rights to pursue benefits that you should receive for your injury. The first deadline I'd like to talk about is one that happens early on after a workers' compensation injury. It's a deadline for giving notice about your injury to your employer. Under Georgia workers' compensation law, your employer has a right to know about the injury that you suffered at work. The reason they have this right is because the law allows them to do an investigation to determine what happened that caused your injury and also whether they're going to agree that your injury is one that they should pay for under Georgia's workers' compensation law or one that they should deny. Now, notice in Georgia can be given in writing or it can be given orally. There's not a particular form that you have to use to give notice, but you do have to give notice to someone who's in a supervisory position over you. The best thing to do with this deadline or any other deadline that I discuss in this video is to check with a Georgia workers' compensation attorney. This way you can make sure that things are being done timely and properly in your claim. You do not want to lose the right to benefits that you should receive. The second deadline I'd like to talk about in this video is what's known as an all issues statute of limitations. It is a deadline for filing your Georgia workers' compensation claim. Under Georgia's law, you generally have 1 year from when your injury occurred to file a claim with the State Board of Workers' Compensation. There are certain things under Georgia's law that can extend this deadline, or things that can be done by your employer that can satisfy the deadline. But the safest thing to do is to assume that you're going to need to file an actual claim with the Georgia State Board of Workers' Compensation within a year of when your injury occurred. If you don't, you could lose the right to pursue your claim at all. I see too many people who wait too long and lose their right to pursue their workers' compensation claim. The third and one of the trickiest deadlines under Georgia's workers' compensation law is what is known as the change in conditions statute of limitations. This is a deadline that applies when your workers' compensation claim has been accepted by the employer insurance company and you have received some wage loss benefits from them. Those wage loss benefits could have either been temporary total disability benefits or temporary partial disability benefits. Temporary total disability benefits are paid when you're completely out of work as a result of an injury, and temporary partial disability benefits are paid when you're working but making less money as a result of your injury. Now, once you've received these benefits and then you stop receiving these benefits at some point, there's a certain time within which, under the Georgia workers' compensation law, you have to receive additional wage loss benefits. If there's too long a gap between when you received wage loss benefits and they stopped, and when you ask for or receive benefits again, you can be barred from ever receiving wage loss benefits again for that injury that you received the benefits for. Now, this can be very confusing. To sum it up, it basically means that if you got wage loss benefits and then they stopped, and there's a 2-year gap before you get or ask for wage loss benefits again, then you're barred from ever receiving wage loss benefits again for that workers' compensation injury. Now, this can be very harsh, especially with someone who suffered a severe injury at work and has permanent restrictions as a result of this injury. That's where I most often see people affected by this, because in those situations, someone may often go back to work, but maybe they go back to work at light duty. and maybe that light duty job is paying them what they made before they got hurt. And they work that job for a while, but then that job goes away for some reason and they're no longer working that job. Or maybe they end up needing another surgery and they come completely out of work. Well, if there's been a 2-year gap from when they last got wage loss benefits, the insurance company may be able to avoid responsibility for ever paying them wage loss benefits again. Now, again, this is a very harsh result. There are some things that can be done to minimize the chance that this deadline will come into effect, but it is a very important one to be aware of, especially if you suffer a severe injury at work. Now, there are other Georgia workers' compensation deadlines that I haven't discussed in this video. I just want to hit on 3 of what I think are the most important deadlines, but you need to be aware of all deadlines that are out there. Otherwise, you can lose benefits to rights that you should have received. One of the best ways, again, to protect your rights is to talk with a workers' compensation attorney and try to get one involved in your case. But even if you think you've already missed a deadline, it's best to reach out to a workers' compensation attorney and check. There are some exceptions that can sometimes allow you to avoid the harsh penalties that can be put into effect by missing these deadlines. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you have, please consider 2 things before you go. First, I'd really appreciate if you give this video a like or a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to this channel if you'd like to be notified of future videos in the Georgia Workers' Compensation video series. Second, if you've got workers' compensation questions, please reach out to get answers. I offer free consultations in Georgia workers' compensation cases. If you'd like to set one of those up, there's 2 easy ways you can do so. The first is by calling the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and the other is by reaching out to us through our website, which is www.perkinslawtalk.com. Just click on and submit the pre-consultation request form there, and a member of our team will reach out to you and get a consultation scheduled. I'd like to thank you again for watching this video today. I'd like to wish you the best of luck as you recover from your injuries.